we went all the way around, but our split's on the other side. We're going to take one of our shafting rollers here, and we're going to go ahead and slip it underneath here. We're going to see if we can get this to sit down, and then we should be able to rotate this. Maybe grabbing the flange over here. Well, we gotta get this all the way off of here. All right. There we go. It shouldn't take more than, just like a split on a coupling there. You know, I could put it in here, but I think I'm going to go ahead right here because out at this diameter a little less effort. And once you create a little bit of a split there, it shouldn't really take too much to break this thing loose here. I'm not resting anywhere. All right, let's. I'm just going to tap another one into here. The reason why it might be just a little bit stubborn is the amount of dirt in here. We'll get that out, and the rust on the keyway. Alright, we're gonna get a block in here so we can actually pry against that. Oh yeah. Actually might be too big. Oh. Remember I told you there was a set screw in there? And they probably put that set screw in there and set the travel right there. And when something doesn't quite go the way you think, you got to look around, make sure that everything is taken care of. All right, this is lined up with the key here, and this set screw right here, we're going to go ahead and reach in there with a wrench and check that out. Okay, let's see. I don't know what size it's going to be, but I'd almost guess at a quarter. Yep. Okay. And I usually have a little tube like this to be a cheater, and I want to make sure that we're all the way in there. Okay. It wasn't that tight. In fact, they might not have even had that tight, or my wedging is creating enough motion in there to let it be free. Only when we move it we'll see. But it does look like it was making contact right there. Okay, and a little bit of rust and all of that's in there. Alright, now we'll see it hit that block and pry method here. There we go. Alright. There we go. And the set screw was on the key. Now this key, damn, that's a long key. And we'll probably be reusing that. The keys that they give you with the new one are just short sections of key. Alright. The rest of the way off. Alright. We're going to go ahead and we're going to break loose now the top bolts here on the bearing cap, which take the same socket as one we were using. We're also going to go and use our cheater pipe here. We already know what the torque is, so all we need to do is get them off and get the cap off. Alright, get the impact. Okay, same thing as the other one there. We have 2 pry bars, and they give you 2 nice little jack spots right here and right here. There we go. All right. Now, I was talking about the free floating bearing and then a lock bearing. And there is a little spacer that slid in on the coupling side of this bearing, which keeps this bearing located in the housing rigid or fixed, and the other one floats. And the width of that little ring right there is like 5/16 of an inch, and that's about what we got on the other side there as far as our measurement of our thrust. And looks like it was making a good tight fit there. A little bit of a heat spot right there. Kind of hard to tell. It doesn't really smell burnt. But there's a little bit more grease in this cavity here than the other one there. And it looks smooth, but I'm trying to look and see if that actually looks like it's spun in the housing or not. And it's kind of hard to tell. Alright, we got a hole right there. I'm going to see if putting a pin in there. I can get a... Okay, I can't get a rotation out of there, so I'm gonna assume that that is only the compression of the cap on there giving that imprint. Just a little something we're just paying attention to, that's all. When you take something apart, what you see is the map or the clues of what's going on. Alright, that ring's loose, and this one's loose. The one on the other side, one was tight, and from rust and stuff building up underneath the shaft there, but both of these are loose. Alright, we're going to go ahead and scrape some of this goo off of here. We're going to lift the shaft out of here, wipe down what we can out of here, and then we're going to reach in and we're going to see if we can break loose this coupling and get this off of here before we start messing around with this bearing on this end here. Alright, somewhere in here I got the right Allen wrench. Oh, there it is. Alright, let's see what we can do here, making sure we get it all the way in there. Alright, I like that. It's a good sign. If we get 2 more good signs, we'll be fat here. Alright, let's check the last one here and then we'll get those drawn out. Yep, nice. Alright, I'll back those out, and then we got 2 spots here straight across from each other, and these set screws will go in and should push the 2 halves apart. That's the game plan anyway, so wish they all come out just like this. Not much room in here, and working an Allen wrench at 2 flats at a time is not always the funnest thing here. Let's hope we can do this without having to pull this ring or anything else out of here. These dirty birds. Alright, we're lacking about two threads here. I don't want to cut these bolts because that's the original design there, but you know, all in tendency there, you know, it would be easy to go ahead and cut that, put these in here, and then go ahead and remove this. We have to blow this bearing off of here anyway because we know that our puller isn't going to come all the way there. Unless this thing happens to slide freely after we loosen this nut, which is highly unlikely. But we're going to go ahead and proceed by undoing our locks. We're going to spin this nut free. And we're going to go ahead and we'll slide our pieces back out of the way here. We'll probably get in here with a little wire wheel so we can get this thing way back. Alright, but for right now, we're going to go ahead and knock our locks back out of the way here. Alright, good face shield. It's a little dirty on the window, but alright. Alright, I got everything back off of this side here. This is exposed the inner race of the bearing. Alright, now we can't get a puller on here, but I want to go ahead and loosen that on this piece here. I have pulled this trick off in the lathe quite a bit, and only a couple times on the rollers I've made successful attempts of this. And this is a procedure I'm going to show you. Uniform, quick heat gives you good results a lot of time. Okay, you can see one of my rollers under each side here, and I can freely spin this. Alright, so just like it's in a lathe, I'm going to actually spin it in this direction here because this ring tends to stay over in that direction, I guess. Well, not always, but actually I'm going to go ahead I'm going to do something to keep that over there in that area for a quickie here anyway. Alright, in a minute I'm going to set up, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to loosen that race off of that inner taper lock. We're ready to go now. We're all set up. I got this wired off here so it doesn't dangle back in on the project. Alright, now we're going to spin this, and I'm going to heat this with a torch, and then I'm going to take one of the two hammers here, give it a light tap, and we're going to tap it free. Alright, now on the lathe I can spin it, and then I don't have to worry about holding that, and I can just hold this and the hammer at the same time. But I'm going to have to be rolling this, and I've got it pretty well so it freewheels. So we should be pretty well simulating what happens when I do this in the lathe, alright? Alright, let's get some heat. Now that we got that loose, now we can go ahead and we can take him. We can push this. We're going to lift this up, get off the rollers. We're going to push everything back this way here. Then we can get our socket in on this end here. Then we can work on this hub. Once we pull this hub off of here, then all of this will slip out of here. We'll lower it down on the ground, I believe, and we'll go ahead and we'll block it up, and we're going to work on getting the 4 bolts out of that pulley, that sheave. And after we get the bolts out of that sheave, we'll put the 2 jack bolts on there, and we'll hopefully get that. And then we're down to the bare shaft, and we're more than halfway home, because disassembling is more critical than assembling as far as time-wise and what you eat up, and also investigating how it goes back. Everything's got to be mapped, okay? And I've been taking dimensions and jotting them down as I go. Alright, so I'm going to get this ready, and we can put those 2 Allens in the head here, or in this taper lock on the flange here, and we'll be able to pull that off. Alright, we blew out the 2 holes here. We got plenty of room now that everything is moved back, and this thing slid real easy once we put a heel bar in there and kind of spread it, and it slipped. We'll show you how it comes when it comes off of there. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and make sure the screws in. We blew it out, and we added never sees, because there's no way that we can get a tap in here, because it's only half of a hole here, and it'll screw in so far, and then it has a flat mating on the inner hub, and when the threads and the inner hub face collide there, it's made to pop it loose. That's how you push these apart. I knew this wasn't going to be easy threading, but it's actually not too bad. And we left this whole ring all together basically so that this wasn't flopping around in our way. A lot of times you might want to try to go for this at the very beginning, but you really couldn't even get these bolts in at the very beginning, and it would be twice as hard if this thing was all flopping around in your face. So we'll take this all apart separate after this is off of here. Means we got a new rubber coupling joint there as well. I hope this bottoms out before we get to the shoulder there. At least it's supposed to. And I was worried about taking 1/8 of an inch off of that. Coming down to that shoulder. Alright, let's put the other one in. Maybe that does draw that off of there. It looks narrower on that side than it does across here, so I'm going to assume that this is the game plan. They make these things kind of dummy proof, so I think when you try to overthink something you get yourself into trouble. I'm rolling this to the side a little bit so I can get in here. I have to laugh because I'm running the overhead fan in here between takes here, and my brakes are getting longer because I got the fan on and it's interruption as far as the communications here. Anyway, both of these are in now, and I put my angles on this drum over here, similar to we had for the pulleys there. And now I'm just going to go ahead and stagger back and forth and bring these into a torque, and there we go. We may have to add some heat to this, and we may not, but we'll give it a cold start first. No, that's going to come right off, alright? No. It's good to know what's going on, but it also helps having a little bit of luck once in a while. And this definitely, when it's put together right, it usually comes apart right, and I'm very, very grateful that so far this is, because this really is, this is a big hunk of iron for having in my shop, and if it wasn't for my experience in such things, I'd have a real hard time with this. Alright, let's see, this should pull off. There we go. Okay, and you can see how those bolts drive that coupling off. So this side here draws them in, and then this other side here helps push them off. And it looked like the threads were really on this other side, but it was just a straight bore, and the threads are in on this half of the. And this is called a QD, I believe. Actually, this is a taper lock. QDs have a flange on them, and that's the simplicity of it. A little bit of rust and stuff. We're going to clean that up. We're going to be reusing this one here. I don't think they gave us a new one of these in the box, so we're going to be completely cleaning up that whole section. All right, now we can go ahead, and I'm going to get this stuff slid off this end here. We're going to get set up on this last sheet. We're knock on wood. All right, we slid everything else off of here after we pulled the key out of the end here, and we just put this in here, and you get just a little bit of a spread on here. Actually, it works better this way here because we're in like the pull mode. And there we go. All right, and pull the last ring off. Alright, now we're ready to drop this thing down and start working on those bolts, getting those broke free. And we know that we're going to have to put our angles on there, but we're going to get this right down on the floor. We're all set up on here. We decided to leave this up so that I wasn't leaning over so far to do the tapping and all that stuff on here. And alright, in the tightening mode, we got the wrench here, we got the angles supporting. Stagger back and forth. Now, we ended up getting that one after we heated it up, but I don't think it was because of the heating. I just think it was because of how much torque we actually put on these. And we did have a little bit of wedging going on between the pulleys. And I I was able to pull on that mill over there. Alright, I think we just broke it loose. Maybe not. Funny, it don't look like it's separated, so I hope I'm doing, oh. Yeah. Well, I broke the back flange there. Hard to say. What did I do? Well, we broke the flange off of the inner hub there, so this is not going to be easy here. Let's see what's going on. We may actually have to get this thing into the hydraulic press there and finish pulling the thing apart, or get some all thread in there and a puller off the end. We'll see.